My ex told everyone I was boring, then she watched me win $50,000 on live TV. When Chelsea's face appeared on my phone screen at 8:47 p.m. that Sunday night, I was sitting alone in my apartment eating cold pizza, watching my own face on national television. The host had just handed me a giant cardboard check. Confetti was still falling around my shoulders, and my ex-girlfriend of 3 years, the woman who told me I was the most boring person she'd ever met, was texting me for the first time in 7 months. OMG, was that you on TV? I stared at her message while my televised self shook the host's hand. You won $50,000. That's insane. The studio audience on screen erupted in applause. I took another bite of pizza. We should celebrate. I chewed slowly, watching myself mouth, "Thank you," to the camera, watching the moment that would change everything. Not because of the money, but because of what it proved. She texted again. I always knew you were smart. No, you didn't. Remember how I used to quiz you on trivia? No, you didn't do that either. My phone buzzed 17 more times in the next 3 minutes. Friends, family, co-workers, people I hadn't spoken to since high school. But I kept my eyes on Chelsea's name, watching those 3 little dots appear and disappear as she typed and deleted and typed again. 7 months earlier, she'd packed her bags and told me I was too predictable, a waste of her time, boring. Now here I was, $50,000 richer, watching her scramble to rewrite history in real time. I set my phone face down on the coffee table, and I smiled for the first time in months. I'd been with Chelsea for 3 years, 2 months, and 14 days when she ended it. I know the exact count because I'm that kind of person, the kind who remembers numbers, dates, the capital of Myanmar, the year the first transcontinental railroad was completed, the kind who finds comfort in facts because facts don't change. Facts don't wake up one morning and decide they don't love you anymore. We met at a friend's birthday party in 2019. She was wearing a red dress that caught the light when she laughed, and she laughed a lot that night. I was standing by the snack table, because of course I was, trying to remember the host's girlfriend's name so I wouldn't embarrass myself if she came over. Chelsea came over instead. You look like you're solving a math problem, she said. I'm trying to remember if the girlfriend's name is Amanda or Samantha, I admitted. It's Miranda. That wasn't even on my list. She laughed again, that bright, catching the light laugh, and something in my chest shifted. We talked for 2 hours that night. She thought my random knowledge was charming then. Endearing, she called it. When I told her that honey never spoils, and they've found 3,000-year-old honey in Egyptian tombs that was still edible, she looked at me like I'd handed her a gift. How do you know all this stuff? I just collect it, I guess. Facts. I read a lot, play trivia games. It's relaxing. That's adorable, she said. Adorable. That word would curdle into something else over the next 3 years, but I didn't know it then. Then, I was just a guy who made a pretty girl laugh at a party, and that felt like enough. The first year was good. Great, even. We found a rhythm. Dinner on Fridays, movies on Saturdays, lazy Sundays where we'd sleep in and make breakfast together. I introduced her to my trivia nights at O'Malley's Pub, where my team, me, Jake, and 2 guys from my office, had won the championship 3 years running. She came once. It's kind of boring, she said afterward. Just sitting there answering questions. We won a $50 bar tab. Still, I should have noticed the way her nose wrinkled, the slight edge in her voice, but I told myself it wasn't her thing and that was fine. Couples didn't have to share everything. By year 2, the edge had gotten sharper. You're doing flashcards again? She'd come home to find me at the kitchen table, index cards spread out in front of me, world capitals, U.S. presidents, periodic table elements. It's Friday night. I know. I thought we could go to dinner in an hour. We always go to dinner on Fridays. You like that Italian place. I'm just saying. She dropped her purse on the counter with more force than necessary. We're predictable. When's the last time we did something spontaneous? I looked at my flashcards. Naypyidaw, Reykjavik, Ouagadougou. What do you want to do? I don't know. Something. Anything, she sighed. Never mind. Let's just go to dinner. We went to the Italian place. She ordered the chicken parm. I had the lasagna, same as always. The thing about being called boring is that it doesn't happen all at once. It's not a single moment of cruelty. It's a death by 1,000 small cuts. A sigh when you suggest your favorite restaurant. An eye roll when you mention something you read. The slow, steady drain of enthusiasm every time you try to share something that excites you. By year 3, Chelsea had stopped pretending. God, not the flashcards again. It helps me remember things. Useless things. When are you ever going to need to know the capital of Burkina Faso? Ouagadougou. See? Who cares? I cared. That was the problem. I cared about things she found worthless, and slowly, painfully, I started to wonder if she was right. The application to Brain Battle arrived in my inbox 6 months before she left. I'd signed up on a whim 2 years earlier, during a trivia night when I'd answered every single question correctly, and Jake had joked that I should go on a game show. I'd laughed it off, but I'd also filled out the the application that night, sending it into the void like a message in a bottle. Now the bottle had washed back to shore. Dear Marcus, thank you for your interest in Brain Battle. We're pleased to inform you that you've been selected for our preliminary audition round. I read it 3 times. Then I closed the tab and never told Chelsea. She would have laughed. She would have rolled her eyes and called it a waste of time and reminded me that trivia was boring and I was boring and everything I loved was boring. So I kept it secret. And in the quiet hours when she was asleep or out with her friends from work, the ones who were always doing interesting things, I studied world capitals, historical dates, science facts, pop culture references, everything. I told myself it was just a hobby, just something to keep my mind sharp. But somewhere deep down, in a part of myself I wasn't ready to acknowledge, I was preparing for something. The breakup came on a Tuesday in March. I came home from work to find her packing a suitcase. Not the small one we used for weekend trips, the big one. The one that meant she wasn't coming back. Chelsea? I can't do this anymore, Marcus. Can't do what? She zipped the suitcase with a sound like finality. This, us, the same thing every single day. Movies on Saturday, dinner on Friday, home by 10, wake up, repeat. I'm 28 years old, and I feel like I'm 80. I thought you liked our routine. I thought I could learn to. She finally looked at me, and there was something in her eyes I'd never seen before. Pity. But I can't. You're just so boring. The word landed like a fist in my sternum. Boring. Everything is predictable with you. Every weekend is the same. Every conversation is the same. I need someone who surprises me, Marcus. Someone who makes me feel alive. She grabbed her suitcase handle. I'm sorry. I really am. But I can't spend the rest of my life with someone who thinks memorizing state capitals is a good time. I watched her walk to the door. The capital of Myanmar is Naypyidaw, I said quietly. Not Yangon like most people think. They moved it in 2006. She paused, looked back at me. That's exactly what I'm talking about, she said. And then she was gone. 2 weeks later, I saw the first Instagram post. Chelsea, Tyler, skydiving. Tyler was everything I wasn't. Loud, spontaneous, the kind of guy who suggested jumping out of airplanes on a random Tuesday. His beard was artfully scruffy. His smile was effortlessly confident. And Chelsea was looking at him the way she used to look at me, back when my random facts were charming instead of tedious. Finally living. Found someone who matches my energy. I read the caption 7 times. More posts followed. Beach parties, club VIP sections, hiking trips and weekend getaways, and a constant stream of photos proving that Chelsea's life had become everything she'd said it couldn't be with me. Adventure awaits when you're with the right person. Life's too short to be boring. This is what happiness looks like. Our mutual friends saw all of it. I knew because Jake mentioned it, carefully, over beers one night. You doing okay, man? Yeah, fine. It's just, he hesitated. She seems happy. With Tyler. Good for her. And some people are saying, he took a long drink. Look, maybe she has a point. You do stay in a lot. When's the last time you actually went out? Did something spontaneous? I went to trivia last week. That's not what I mean, and you know it. I stared at my beer. The label was peeling at the corner. Maybe try being more spontaneous, Jake said. Get out of your comfort zone. Meet someone new. My mom said something similar when I told her about the breakup. Honey, relationships take compromise. Maybe you could have tried harder to do things she enjoyed. Met her halfway. I did try. She didn't want to meet me anywhere. Still, it takes 2 to make a relationship fail. Even my sister had thoughts. I love you, but you are kind of a homebody. You've always been like this. Maybe try meeting someone who's more low-key next time. Everyone agreed. I was the problem. The months after Chelsea left were the darkest of my life. I'd come home from work to an empty apartment, heat up something frozen for dinner, and sit at my kitchen table with my flashcards. The same ones Chelsea had mocked. The same ones everyone said were a waste of time. Some nights I'd stare at the words, Naypyidaw, Reykjavik, Ouagadougou, and hear her voice. Boring. Predictable. Waste of time. My stomach would twist into knots. I'd put the cards down, try to watch TV, try to be normal. But normal felt impossible when everyone you knew agreed that you were fundamentally broken. Maybe she was right. Maybe I was just a guy who memorized world capitals while everyone else actually lived their lives. Maybe the flashcards and trivia nights and endless collection of useless facts were just a way to avoid becoming a real person. I thought about deleting the Brain Battle application, emailing them to withdraw my name. What was the point? I was just boring. The show would probably reject me anyway. I opened my laptop to do it. The email was already waiting. Dear Marcus, congratulations. You've been selected to advance to the next round of auditions in Los Angeles. Please review the attached materials and confirm your availability. I read it 3 times. My hands were shaking. They wanted me. Despite everything Chelsea said, despite everything I'd started to believe about myself, a national television show thought I was interesting enough to audition. Something clicked in that moment. Something small but significant, like a key turning in a lock I'd forgotten existed. I wasn't boring. I was preparing. All those nights alone, alone. All those flashcards and trivia games and random facts Chelsea called worthless. I hadn't been wasting my time. I'd been training. The audition process for Brain Battle was more intense than I'd expected. The first round was in Los Angeles, a sterile conference room in a downtown hotel where a producer named Diane Cho sat across from me with a clipboard. "We're going to ask you some rapid-fire questions," she said. "Don't think too hard. Just answer." "Okay. Capital of Australia. Canberra. Year the Titanic sank. 1912. Chemical symbol for gold. AU. Actor who played Tony Soprano. James Gandolfini." She wrote something on her clipboard. "What makes you want to be on Brain Battle, Marcus?" I thought about Chelsea, about everyone who called me boring, about the nights alone with my flashcards, wondering if I was wasting my life. "Because I've spent years collecting knowledge that everyone told me was useless," I said, "and I want to prove them wrong." Diane smiled. "We'll be in touch." The second audition was in April, a video call with the show's head producer, Tom Harrison. 22 years in television, 6 Emmys on his shelf, the kind of presence that made you sit up straighter even through a screen. "Marcus Chen," he said, reading from a file. "Software engineer, trivia enthusiast, 3-time pub trivia champion. 4-time, actually. We won again last month," he chuckled. "I like confidence. Tell me about your weakest category." "Sports statistics. I know the major stuff, championship winners, record holders, but the deep cuts trip me up." "What are you strongest in?" "Geography, world capitals especially, and presidential history." "All right," he leaned back. "What's the only U.S. state whose capital shares no letters with its state name?" I closed my eyes, ran through the list in my head. "Alabama, Montgomery. Alaska, Juneau. Arizona, Phoenix. Pierre, South Dakota," I said. "No shared letters." Tom's eyebrows rose. "Most people take at least 30 seconds on that one. I've spent a lot of time thinking about capitals." He wrote something on his notepad. "Final question, Marcus. Why should America root for you?" I thought again about Chelsea, about Tyler, about everyone who saw me as less than because I preferred quiet nights in to wild adventures. "Because I think there are a lot of people out there like me," I said slowly. "People who get told they're boring or weird because they care about things other people don't understand. And I want to show them that the things they love, the things that make them different, those aren't weaknesses. They're superpowers waiting to be used." Tom was quiet for a long moment. "We'll be in touch," he said finally, but he was smiling when he said it. The call came in June. I was at my desk at work, staring at a bug in some legacy code that had been haunting me for 3 days, when my phone rang. Unknown number, Los Angeles area code. "Marcus Chen? Speaking. This is Sarah from Brain Battle Production. I'm calling to let you know you've been selected as a contestant for season 14. I stopped breathing. "Marcus, are you there?" "Yes, sorry. Yes, I'm here. We'll be flying you out to Los Angeles for filming on August 18th. We'll cover flights, hotel, everything. You'll compete against 4 other contestants for the $50,000 grand prize. $50,000. That's correct. Does this work for your schedule?" I thought about Chelsea, about Tyler, about everyone who'd called me boring. "Yes," I said. "It works perfectly." I told no one. Not Jake, not my mom, not my sister, no one. It wasn't just secrecy for secrecy's sake. It was protection. I couldn't bear the thought of telling everyone I was going on a game show only to come home empty-handed. To have them nod sympathetically while thinking, "Of course he lost. He's boring. What did he expect?" So I kept it locked away. A secret identity. Marcus Chen by day, software engineer who stayed home too much. Brain Battle champion by night. At least, that's what I hoped to become. I studied harder than ever. 3 hours every night after work. Weekends became marathon sessions. Geography in the morning, history in the afternoon, pop culture in the evening. I made new flashcards, downloaded quiz apps, watched old episodes of Brain Battle until I knew the format by heart. Tom Harrison was right. Sports were my weakness. So I drilled baseball statistics, basketball records, Super Bowl winners until my eyes blurred. I wasn't going to lose because of a question about touchdowns. The week before filming, I took vacation days from work, told everyone I was visiting family. Then, I flew to Los Angeles. The hotel was nicer than anywhere I'd ever stayed. A suite with a view of the city, room service, a bed that felt like sleeping on clouds. I spent the first night lying awake, staring at the ceiling, running through capitals in my head like a meditation. Abu Dhabi, Accra, Addis Ababa, Algiers, Amman. The next morning, I met the other contestants. There was Dr. Rebecca Owens, an emergency room physician from Chicago, who had the calm, unflappable demeanor of someone who'd seen too much to be scared of trivia questions. David Kim, a high school history teacher from Seattle, with a nervous laugh and encyclopedic knowledge of American wars. Janet Murray, a retired librarian from Atlanta who'd won her regional Jeopardy tournament twice. And the fourth contestant, a corporate lawyer from Boston named Benjamin Walsh, who shook my hand like he was closing a deal. "May the best mind win," he said. His smile didn't reach his eyes. We spent 2 days doing prep, signing release forms, getting fitted for makeup, rehearsing how to hit the buzzer without looking like deer in headlights. The show's director, a woman named Patricia Chen, no relation, walked us through the format. 3 rounds, she explained. Round 1, everyone competes. Lowest scorer is eliminated. Round 2, same thing. Round 3 is head-to-head. Whoever answers the final question correctly wins the grand prize. What if neither contestant knows the answer? David asked. Then we go to a tiebreaker, but in 14 seasons, we've never needed one. I looked at the stage, the bright lights, the buzzers, the giant screen where questions would appear. This was it. Everything I'd been preparing for. Filming day, August 18th, 8 a.m. I woke up before my alarm, showered, put on the blue button-down the wardrobe department had approved, ate a light breakfast, eggs, toast, orange juice, because I'd read that protein helps cognitive function. At 9:15, a production assistant named Kevin escorted us to the studio. Nervous? He asked. Terrified, I admitted. He laughed. Good, that means you care. The studio was smaller than it looked on TV. The audience was maybe 100 people, mostly friends and family of contestants, plus some fans who'd won tickets through a lottery. The host, Marcus Webb, same first name, I'd always liked that, was in the corner getting his makeup touched up. 5 minutes to places, someone shouted. Dr. Rebecca Owens materialized beside me. You ready for this? As ready as I'll ever be, she nodded. Whatever happens, remember, we made it here. That means something. Places! Everyone to places! The lights dimmed, then blazed back brighter than before. The theme music started, and Marcus Webb strode onto the stage with the confidence of a man who'd done this 800 times. Welcome to Brain Battle! The audience erupted. This was it. Round 1 was a blur. Categories cycled randomly. Science, literature, pop culture, history. Questions appeared on the screen, and we slammed our buzzers trying to be first. What is the chemical formula for table salt? My hand moved before my brain caught up. NaCl. Correct! In what year did the Berlin Wall fall? 1989. Correct! What is the largest organ in the human body? Skin. Correct! The questions came faster. The lights felt hotter. I was vaguely aware of the other contestants beside me. Rebecca answering steadily, David hesitating too often, Janet surprising everyone with a deep knowledge of classic literature. Benjamin Walsh was good. Scary good. He answered political questions with the precision of a machine, and his eyes never left the screen. When round 1 ended, the scoreboard lit up. Marcus Chen, 4,200 points. Benjamin Walsh, 3,800 points. Dr. Rebecca Owens, 3,400 points. Janet Murray, 2,900 points. David Kim, 2,100 points. I'm sorry, David, Marcus Webb said with practiced sympathy. You've been eliminated. David shook my hand before he left. Kill it out there, man. Round 2. The questions got harder. What is the longest river in Africa? The Nile. Who wrote 100 Years of Solitude? My buzzer. Gabriel Garcia Marquez. What planet has the shortest day in our solar system? Benjamin beat me. Jupiter. We traded blows like boxers. He was stronger on law and politics. I dominated geography and history. Rebecca held steady in the middle. Janet started to fade. When the round ended, Marcus Chen, 7,600 points. Benjamin Walsh, 7,200 points. Dr. Rebecca Owens, 5,100 points. Janet Murray, 4,800 points. Janet, I'm sorry, she nodded graciously. Good luck, everyone. Rebecca was eliminated next. The look she gave me as she left was pure encouragement. You've got this. Final round. Me versus Benjamin Walsh, the corporate lawyer from Boston with the calculating eyes and the smile that meant nothing. Marcus Webb's voice dropped an octave for the drama. This is it, folks. 2 contestants, 1 question, $50,000. The audience went silent. The category is World Geography. My heart stopped, then started again, faster. This was my category, my specialty. For $50,000 and the Brain Battle Championship, the screen flickered. What is the capital of Myanmar? Time stopped. The studio lights were blinding. I could hear my own heartbeat in my ears. The air felt thick, impossible to breathe. I was aware of Benjamin beside me, his hand hovering over his buzzer, his forehead creased in concentration. Most people think it's Yangon, the biggest city, the former capital, the name everyone remembers, but I knew better. I'd studied this exact question, sat at my kitchen table with flashcards while Chelsea complained I was wasting my time, repeated it to myself in the dark of my empty apartment while everyone I loved agreed that I was boring. Naypyidaw. They changed the capital in 2006. I'd told Chelsea that the night she left, and she'd looked at me like I was speaking a foreign language. That's exactly what I'm talking about. My hand slammed the buzzer. Marcus! The word caught in my throat. The studio lights felt like the sun. 100 faces in the audience stared at me, expecting failure, expecting success, expecting something. I thought about Chelsea, about Tyler, about everyone who called me boring. Naypyidaw, I said. 1 second of silence. 2. Then Marcus Webb's face split into into a grin. Correct! Marcus Chen, you've just won $50,000! The confetti came from everywhere. It fell like snow, like rain, like redemption. The audience erupted. Marcus Webb was shaking my hand, clapping my shoulder, saying something I couldn't hear over the roaring in my ears. $50,000. I'd done it. All those nights alone, all those flashcards, all those hours Chelsea called wasted. They'd led here, to this stage, to this moment. Benjamin Walsh shook my hand. His smile finally reached his eyes. Hell of a game, he said. Hell of a game, I agreed. Backstage, production assistants swarmed me with paperwork, tax forms, releases, direct deposit information for the winnings. Tom Harrison found me in the chaos. That was one of the best finals we've ever had, he said. You should be proud. Thank you for giving me a chance. You gave yourself the chance, Marcus. We just provided the stage. I flew home the next day, $50,000 richer, and still, I told no one. The episode was scheduled to air in October. 2 months of waiting, 2 months of carrying this secret like an ember in my chest, warm and growing warmer. I went back to my normal life, work, trivia nights with Jake, quiet evenings at home, but everything felt different. I wasn't boring. I was vindicated. The difference might seem small from the outside, but inside, where it mattered, everything had shifted. I walked taller, spoke clearer. When Jake made jokes about me being a homebody, I just smiled. You'll see, I said. See what? Just wait. October 14th, Sunday night. The episode was scheduled to air at 8 p.m. Eastern. I'd been tracking the promotions for weeks. Brain Battle had been running teasers, clips of contestants, flashes of questions, the usual hype. I'd seen myself in one of them, a brief shot of my face lit by studio lights, and my stomach had done a backflip. Jake was hosting a watch party, a group of our friends gathering for some game show marathon he'd put together. He had no idea what was coming. At 7:45, I ordered pizza. At 7:55, I turned on the TV. At 8, my face appeared on screen. The episode played exactly as I remembered it. Round 1, round 2, the eliminations, the tension, the close calls. I watched myself on television, calm, focused, answering questions with a confidence I didn't know I had. At 8:42, the final round began. At 8:45, the question appeared. What is the capital of Myanmar? I watched myself hit the buzzer, watched the pause that had felt like eternity but lasted only seconds, watched myself say Naypyidaw with perfect clarity. At 8:47, the confetti fell, and my phone exploded. Jake's text came first. Dude, was that you? Then my mom. Marcus James Chen, did you just win $50,000 on national television? Then my sister. What? Why didn't you tell us? Then co-workers, old friends, people I hadn't spoken to since college. My phone buzzed so continuously that I had to switch it to silent. Then Chelsea. OMG, was that you on TV? I stared at the message. She texted again. You won $50,000. That's insane. The woman who'd called me boring, who'd said I cared more about dead presidents than our relationship, who'd left me for a guy with a scruffy beard and a skydiving habit. Now here she was, crawling back through my notifications. We should celebrate. I laughed out loud. I always knew you were smart. Remember how I used to quiz you on trivia? She never quizzed me. She complained about it, made me feel worthless for caring about things she found boring. But $50,000 has a funny way of rewriting history. More texts arrived. I've been thinking about us. Tyler and I didn't work out. He was too wild. Honestly, I miss how stable you were. Stable. Not boring anymore. Funny how money changes the word. I let her messages sit for an hour. Let her stew. Let her wonder. Let her watch those 3 dots appear and disappear as I typed and deleted and typed again. Finally, I sent one message. I thought I was boring. Her response came instantly. I was stupid. I didn't appreciate what I had. Can we talk? I thought about those nights alone. The flashcards she mocked. The weekends she spent posting photos with Tyler while I prepared for something real. Everyone who agreed I was the problem. My mom. Maybe you could have tried harder. My sister. You were kind of a homebody. Jake. Maybe try being more spontaneous. And Chelsea. Always Chelsea. With her sighs and eye rolls and that word, boring, she wielded like a weapon. I typed my reply slowly, deliberately, savoring each letter. I don't think so. I'm too predictable. You'd get bored again. Her response was immediate. Marcus, please. I made a mistake. She called 4 times that night. I let it ring. Jake called around 10. Bro, he said, and I could hear the chaos of his watch party in the background. Chelsea is losing her mind in the group chat. Everyone saw the show. This is the greatest night of my life. I laughed. Actually laughed. Deep and real. For the first time in months. Thanks, Jake. Why didn't you tell anyone? I didn't want to jinx it. And I paused. I wanted to prove something. To myself, mostly. Well, you proved it, man. You definitely proved it. After we hung up, I pulled up Instagram. Chelsea had been posting all night. Stories, comments, reactions. Each one more desperate than the last. So proud of my friend Marcus. Friend. That's what she was calling it now. Always knew he was destined for greatness. No, she didn't. I scrolled down to her oldest post about Tyler, the skydiving one. Finally living. Found someone who matches my energy. I liked it. 7 months late. Then I logged off and went to bed. The money hit my account 3 weeks later. After taxes, it came out to just over $34,000. Still life-changing. Still proof. I paid off my credit card debt, put some into savings, and with what was left, I booked a trip, solo, to Iceland. I'd wanted to see the Northern Lights since I was 12 years old, since I read about them in a National Geographic magazine and stared at the photos for hours, memorizing the science behind them. Solar wind, magnetic fields, atoms colliding in the atmosphere, releasing photons of green and blue and purple. Chelsea never wanted to go. Too cold, too far, too boring, but I wasn't with Chelsea anymore. I flew into Reykjavik on a November evening, rented a car, and drove north into the darkness. The roads were empty. The sky was vast. I felt small in the best possible way, like the universe was reminding me how much existed beyond Chelsea's apartment, beyond her opinions, beyond everything she'd made me believe about myself. On the third night, I found them. I was standing near a waterfall called Goðafoss, the waterfall of the gods, when the sky started to dance. Green light rippled across the darkness like curtains made of starlight. It shifted and flowed and breathed, alive in a way I'd never seen anything be alive before. I stood there for an hour, didn't take any photos, didn't check my phone, just watched. And somewhere in that hour, standing beneath something ancient and beautiful, I let go of the last traces of her voice in my head. The boring, the predictable, the waste of time. I wasn't those things. I never was. I posted one photo when I got back to my hotel, just me, smiling, with the northern lights filling the sky behind me. No caption except the location tag. Chelsea liked it within 3 minutes. I didn't respond. It's been 6 months now since the episode aired. Jake still brings it up at trivia nights. There's the $50,000 man, and I let him. It feels good to be known for something, to have proof that the things I love have value, even if not everyone can see it. Chelsea has texted a few more times. Birthday wishes, holiday greetings, a just thinking about you message at 2 a.m. that I deleted without reading. She's still with Tyler from what I hear. Or maybe not. I don't check her Instagram anymore. I've been focusing on other things. I'm learning Icelandic because why not? I'm training for a half marathon because my body deserves as much attention as my brain. I'm writing a book, starting a book, about trivia and memory and why the things we love matter, even when other people don't understand. I'm not boring. I never was. I was just waiting for the right stage. And when it came, I was ready. Sometimes, late at night, I still pull out my flashcards. Not because I'm training for anything now, just because I like them, just because they're mine. What is the capital of Myanmar? Naypyidaw. What is the longest river in Africa? The Nile. What is the only U.S. state whose capital shares no letters with its state name? Pierre, South Dakota. I shuffle through them slowly, remembering all the nights I thought this was a waste of time, all the people who agreed. Then I put them back in their box, and I smile. The last text from Chelsea came last week. I saw you're going to Patagonia. That's so cool. I wish I could do stuff like that. I read it twice. Then I typed my response. You could. You just have to stop waiting for someone else to make it happen. She never replied. My mom called me last month out of the blue. Marcus, I owe you an apology. For what? For what I said when you and Chelsea broke up. About trying harder, meeting halfway. She paused. I didn't understand. You weren't the problem. You were never the problem. I didn't know what to say, so I just listened. That show, she continued. Watching you up there answering those questions, I realized something. All those years I worried you were too quiet, too in your head, too different. But you were just you. And you won. Not the person Chelsea wanted you to be. You. Thanks, Mom. I'm proud of you, honey. I should have said it more. We talked for another hour. About nothing. About everything. About all the years we'd lost to misunderstanding, and all the years we still had to fix it. When we hung up, I felt lighter than I had in a long time. I don't know where I'll be in 5 years. Maybe still writing code. Maybe doing something completely different. Maybe I'll go on another game show. Try for an even bigger prize. Maybe I'll find someone who loves trivia as much as I do, who doesn't see flashcards as a waste of time. Or maybe I'll just keep being me. Quiet, curious, collecting facts like treasures. Boring, some people might still call it. But I know the truth now. I know what boring can become when you give it enough time to prove itself. It can become $50,000, a trip to Iceland, northern lights dancing over frozen waterfalls. It can become redemption. If you made it this far, if you read every word of this story about a guy and his flashcards, then maybe you're a little like me. Maybe someone's told you that the things you love are weird, or pointless, or a waste of time. Maybe you've started to believe them. Don't. Keep studying, keep collecting, keep caring about things that seem useless, because one day, someone's going to ask you the capital of Myanmar, and you'll know the answer.